One of Phantasy Star 2's major downsides was the complete lack of backstory for most of its heroes. There were 8 playable characters setting out to destroy Mother Brain and save the star system, and almost none of them were really explained. Sega used the MegaNet service and the Mega Modem to alleviate this problem. Over the course of 1990 and 1991, it released a series of 8 text adventures through the Sega game Toshokan cartridge that explained the origins and motivations for each character. The first of these features the bounty hunter Amia, and was released on the same day as the modem itself. I haven't covered it yet because when I started doing this show, the release dates on these games were a bit fuzzy, so now here we are. When I covered Putter Golf, I mentioned how games on the Toshokan service needed to be rather small, both due to the amount of storage memory on the cartridge, as well as the relatively slow download speed of the service. Remember, this is 1990. In the Phantasy Star text adventures, this results in a very sparse presentation. You get a few nice character portraits and 1 or 2 original music tracks, but otherwise you're really just getting a whole lot of text. Some of the earliest computer games were text adventures. These games started to appear more frequently in the mid-1970s with the likes of Adventure and Zork. Remember, computers weren't powerhouses back then. On-screen graphics weren't really a possibility in most cases. These games featured text input that handled everything from inventory management to movement, and required you to use your imagination to picture the things being described on screen rather than seeing them for yourself. They were the precursor to classic graphic adventures from developers like Sierra Online and Lucasfilm Games. Most of these games are notorious today for their insanely difficult puzzles. But as Leisure Suit Larry creator Al Lowe pointed out in a 2012 interview, computer gamers back then were by their very nature patient. You had to be a puzzle solver just to get your computer to work a lot of the time, messing around with AutoExec.bat and configsys files just to make your games run at all. Thankfully, the Phantasy Star text adventures are a bit more modern than all that. They play closer to a classic digital novel, entirely menu-driven with a simple movement interface. The puzzles can be a bit tricky, but for the most part, as long as you search every nook and cranny and build up your inventory, most puzzles can be solved by simply attempting to use everything you have in your possession on a particular object. That's not to say death is impossible. One of the hallmarks of early text adventures is how unforgiving they are for a single wrong decision. And the Phantasy Star text adventures carry on the tradition. Walking the wrong direction or choosing to investigate the wrong thing at the wrong time can lead to a quick game over. One other major issue you face with the Phantasy Star games is that the battle system is based entirely on luck, and there is a major shortage of healing items. When fighting, you're a slave to the roll of the dice, and if you happen to get on an unlucky streak, even the weakest of enemies can take you down, and there is no way to save your progress in the Phantasy Star text adventures. Amia's story takes place only a couple of years before the start of Phantasy Star 2, and outlines her experience chasing a rogue Matavian bounty hunter named Hack. After a harrowing journey through mountains and deserts, she catches up to her prey, only to learn he's not exactly who she thought he was. On that day, she vows to become a counter hunter, only to chase hunters who have gone truly bad rather than simply anyone with a price on their head.